very much, Chairperson. Greetings to you, Chair. Greetings to the Premier, Ubaba Ntuli in absentia. Greetings to the Leader of Government Business, Ubaba Usboniso Duma, who also is my leader in the African National Congress, Siyabingelela Mtombeni. Chairperson of the KZN Health Portfolio Committee, Dr. Imran Kika. Honorable members of the KZN Legislature. Chairperson of the KwaZulu-Natal House of Traditional Leaders, Kosushinga, mayors, councillors, and Amakosi present. Chairperson and members of the Provincial AIDS Council. Head of Department, Dr. Shabalala and his team. The leadership of the African National Congress in my region. The Chairperson and the Secretary are here, greetings. Leadership of organized labor. Healthcare workers across the length and breadth of the province, esteemed citizens of KwaZulu-Natal and those watching these proceedings online. Sibingelela nabasilalele nabasibukele ohlelweni lwethu oluhamba phambili olubiza ngokuthi KZN Health Chat. Siyabingelela, siyabonga ukuthi nikhona. I wish to greet my family which is also in the house, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Chairperson, standing before this House, I am filled with pride and gratitude for the opportunity to continue to serve the people of this province. I want to thank the African National Congress for having trust in me and entrusted this amount of work on me. From every hill, mountain, and valley of this beautiful province, we hear the distant echoes of our ancestors who fought for justice and equality. We hear them urging us to continue doing well. While we feel the heartbeat of our communities, we are also urged by all the presidents of the African National Congress to do even better than we did yesterday. I'm here referring to Ubaba John Langalibalele Dube Umafuguzela, Josiah Gumede, Dr. Pislika Isagaseme, Dr. Alfred Kuma, Nkosi Albert Lutuli, Oliver Tambo, Tatu Nelson Mandela, Ubaba Thabo Mbeki, indeed no Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa. Guided by the noble principles of the African National Congress, the budget that we are delivering today aims to uplift the marginalized, heal the sick, and unlock our province's massive potential. We stand before you committed more than ever to dismantling historical inequalities and ensuring that everyone has access to quality health care. Sizimisele ngokuqhubeka nokusebenzela abantu bakithi kakhulu kunakuqala. We recognize the weight of responsibility on our shoulders, but we are ready to do our utmost to provide quality health care within the constraints that we are operating under, which I'll elaborate on a bit later. Guided by our constitutional mandate, we will continue to advocate tirelessly for the rights and well-being of all, prioritizing the needs of the most vulnerable amongst us. We want to make sure that this continues to be an activist department, and we make a pledge to work harder than ever before to reach every corner of KwaZulu-Natal, every village, every suburb, and certainly every township, to ensure that our efforts are impactful. As members would know, the budget vote is usually delivered much earlier in the year, but due to the fact that this was an election year, its delivery date was delayed. We nevertheless see it as a poignant and highly inspiring that we deliver this budget vote during Women's Month, which is a very special period when we honor and celebrate the many great women on whose shoulders we stand today. We honor the women who stood up against the tyranny of apartheid, particularly the more than 2,000 women who marched on August 9, 1956, led by Omama Lilian Ngoyi, Mama Albertina Sisulu, Helen Joseph, and Omama Sophie Dubrain. Their courage continues to inspire us. At this juncture, I am reminded of the words of the late great Nomzamo Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who once said, "If you are to free yourselves, you must break the chains of oppression yourselves." We owe it to these and many other women, as well as countless other freedom fighters, to make this country work at all times and to make sure that their struggle was not in vain. As we celebrate 30 years of freedom and democracy, we owe it to them to make sure that today women and children are free in every sense of the word. We owe it to them to improve access to health care and to rid our society of the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide. We owe it to them to put an end to the abduction and murder of women and children. We owe it to them to put an end to the impregnation of children in this province of KwaZulu-Natal. We further emphasize that putting an end to this scourge is a war that government will not win on its own, but through collaboration and cooperation with our communities, including traditional leaders, the clergy, and all sectors of our society. Honorable Chairperson, during the 6th administration, our nurses, doctors, and support staff displayed heroism and sacrifice, especially during COVID-19. But we also saw the same sense of heroism during the looting of 2021 and certainly during the floods of April 2022. Their strength and ability to cope under pressure have been a lesson in perseverance. And ngaso sonke isikhathi uma sithola isikhathi sihlale sibabonga ngomsebenzi abawenza futhi sikhalisane nemndeni yalabo abadlula emhlabeni ngaleso sikhathi sithi abakwenza siyokuhlale sikukhumbula ngaso sonke isikhathi. We also honor those who lost their lives on the front lines and those who extended their work beyond the healthcare facilities, providing education, testing, and care under challenging circumstances. Honorable members, we want our nurses to emulate the ethos of selflessness and dedication to the nursing profession. The ethos that was displayed by the likes of Mama Albertina Sisulu as well as Mama Victoria Mxenge. However, we will pay tribute to our healthcare professionals for the dedication they've continuously shown. We nevertheless want to make it clear that poor staff attitude among some of them, and it's a very small number, and any form of abuse towards patients will not be tolerated. Such behavior is unacceptable and has no place in this department. The integrity of our healthcare system relies on the core values of respect, empathy, and professionalism. As such, we should be committed to maintaining the highest standards of care without leaving any room to undermine this ethos. I want to make it clear that those who are planning to mistreat patients in any way, shape, or form should consider leaving their position so that those positions can be replaced with people who actually want to do the work. And again, I emphasize, Chair, it's a very small number of people who are doing that. The majority of our health workers are taking very good care of our patients. Equally, we will not accept any form of abuse directed towards our healthcare professionals. These professionals deserve the same level of respect and safety that others expect from them. Therefore, any acts of violence or mistreatment from patients or their relatives will not be tolerated. We have seen a rise in such ill treatment of our healthcare workers in the past few months, Chairperson, and we want to say it will not be tolerated. It must come to an end. Honorable Chair, we are of the view that personal respect is reflected in many aspects of our professional lives, most notably in the way we dress as well. And we are calling on our health workers in totality that we maintain professional appearance, as it is vital for establishing trust and demonstrating the respect that we owe to our patients and colleagues. That is why we are now establishing a new standard for how we dress in the workplace. We would like to remind everyone that healthcare workers and support staff are expected to adhere to a more professional and more formal dress code. The wearing of soccer jerseys, HOD, jeans, and other casual clothing will no longer be acceptable, even on the so-called casual Fridays. All our staff will have to present themselves in a manner that reflects the seriousness and respectfulness of the role that they play in the department. Furthermore, we have been receiving complaints about some staff at some clinics, CHCs and hospitals who are taking lunch breaks simultaneously, leaving patients unattended. Chairperson, I want to assure this House that we will be dealing with this matter and we will make sure that no stone is left unturned so that we address the matter. Our patients deserve the respect. We must not continue to socialize on our phones when we have our patients, and we should be treating them. So, sizokwenza sure ukuthi kuyaphela konke lokho. Siyafisa ke kodwa sesigcina uku-emphasize on this point ukuthi even ama-badge name tags, every health worker is expected to wear a name tag, and should that not happen, it's a matter that we will have to discuss with organized labor on how best do we deal with it, because if we don't do that, it means our patients will continue to get the kind of treatment that they are getting in other areas, and they are unable to complain about who actually was treating them, because that person was not wearing any name tags at all. By the way, that is a principle and policy of government, so it should not be something that we are negotiating. Honorable members, the financial constraints that we are facing are becoming increasingly severe, with constant budget cuts threatening our ability to fulfill the department's core mandate. Since 2019, the department has lost close to 7 billion rands, which has been taken away from our baseline. This situation is severely crippling and affects the long-term sustainability of this department and its work. This chronic underfunding of our healthcare system, which I've just alluded to, affects many areas of our operations, including our ability to fill many critical posts. It also contributes directly to overcrowded facilities and slow-moving queues, because we often don't have enough people to man those stations. Our dedicated healthcare workers, despite their commitment, end up being stretched very thin and affected adversely by these challenges. This leads to burnout and diminished capacity to serve our communities effectively, which is a major concern given the sensitive and critical nature of the work that they do. If we are to meet the healthcare needs of our people, we must urgently address these funding challenges. We have been having continuous engagement with the National Treasury as well as the National Department of Health, with a view to ensure that we do not reach a crisis point. The health of our province must remain a priority and continues to remain a priority. And I will not rest until we secure the resources that are necessary to keep our facilities open and functioning effectively. Honorable Chair, as we march forth during the start of the 7th administration, we draw hope and inspiration from the words of our Honorable President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, when he said during the official opening of Parliament last month, and I quote, "An important task of the next 5 years is to ensure that everyone in South Africa has equal access to equitable, accessible, and affordable quality health care. As we implement the National Health Insurance, we will focus on strengthening healthcare infrastructure, improving training of healthcare personnel, and using technology to improve healthcare management," close quote. The President's utterances enjoin us to unite behind NHI and work effectively to transform the South African healthcare system. The people of KwaZulu-Natal are already reaping benefits of NHI, because chairperson NHI is not just about hospitals. It's not just about sleeping in a hospital. It's not just about utilizing a clinic that is private or a hospital that is private. But NHI is about the whole system that is accessible to those that are previously disadvantaged. Yingakho sihlalo right now sesibona kukhona odokotela emaklinika kahulumeni abafika provide i-service kubantu bakithi mahala bengakhokhanga. That is part of NHI. In as much as into eyibhedlela i-NHI, but those services are also part of NHI. Through NHI, we have managed to upgrade healthcare facilities in this province, ensuring that hospitals and clinics are better equipped to handle the needs of the people. Dr. Pixlika Isaka Seme Memorial Hospital is one such facility. Abantu bakithi sebekwazi ukusizwa ama-truck sihlalo anodokotela bamazinyo, odokotela bamehlo mahala. Lama-truck asondele eduze kwabo lapho besuke bekhona, badingi bona ukuthi baze baye emaklinikhi. Iyona NHI leyo isho njalo ithi ama-services awaye kubantu. We look forward to its continued implementation, which will change the lives of our fellow compatriots by bringing equitable health care for all. As a returning MVC to this department, I've been privileged to have had sight of the enormity and complexity of challenges facing us. My experience has taught me that true victory in the fight against diseases cannot be achieved through government efforts alone. Therefore, we must work together to curb the spread of communicable diseases such as TB, HIV, and to reduce the burden of non-communicable diseases such as cancer, diabetes, stroke, obesity, heart diseases, to name but a few. We thus invite you to work with us to prevent diseases by taking better care of yourselves. Zigadeni, zinageni. To get regularly screened and tested, and to seek help early when diseases rear their ugly heads. We also call upon those who've been diagnosed with diseases to adhere to their treatment regimen. The key to our success lies in each of us realizing that our health is our greatest asset and taking responsibility to care for it. The potent saying comes to mind that says, "He who doesn't make time to take care of his health will eventually be forced to make time for illness." Let us therefore be proactive and not find ourselves being forced to make time for illness. Ngoba asikufisi ngempela ukufika lapho. Honorable members, in this financial year, we are committed to strengthening our relationship with various stakeholders who play a vital role in the well-being of our communities. This includes amakhosi, traditional healers, okwabalaphi bendabuko, leaders of interfaith communities, among others. We have always recognized the significant influence they hold and the deep connections they maintain within our communities. We believe these partnerships are essential, and we want these leaders to know that this Department of Health belongs to them just as much as it belongs to the communities they serve. We will be reaching out to these stakeholders more actively, engaging with them in dialogues and ensuring that their voices are heard and respected in decisions that we make, just like it happened during the fight against COVID-19. By working closely together in this manner, we can ensure that our health initiatives are effective and deeply rooted in the cultural and spiritual fiber of our society. Honorable Chairperson, the importance of our community-based healthcare and outreach programs such as Isibhedlela Kubantu, Isibaya Samadoda, Qoqoqo, Sikhulekile Ekhaya, Khosombela Amajita can never be overemphasized. In this regard, we are guided by resolutions of the 51st Conference of the African National Congress in 2002, which state that in implementing the NHI, specific emphasis must be given to primary health care as the first and most important port of call. That is where we are as the Department of Health today. Therefore, community outreach programs are a critical strategy for achieving the objectives of primary health care by extending its reach and ensuring that health services and information are delivered in a way that is accessible to the community. This effectively ensures that no one is left behind. By partnering with communities and local stakeholders through these programs, we will continue to create a holistic, responsive, inclusive, and stronger healthcare system. We will be further strengthening these programs by adding more government services that are much needed by the community, and this we will do as part of a program esizobe sibiza ngokuthi imbizo equkethe konke. On healthy lifestyles, indeed our department is embracing a new holistic approach to service delivery, which is designed to address the diverse needs of our communities. At the core of this strategy is a commitment to promoting healthy lifestyles and recognizing that the well-being of our citizens is the foundation of a prosperous society. We believe adopting healthier habits can protect us from serious health issues such as obesity and diabetes. Simple changes like eating nutritious foods and not drinking a particular cold drink, as well as staying physically active, can also help us maintain a healthy weight and boost our energy. Chairperson, kuthiwa siyiyeke leya cold drink. By integrating healthy lifestyles initiatives into our strategies, we will empower our communities with tools and knowledge they need to prevent diseases, improve well-being, and lead healthier, more fulfilling lives. Nutrition is another cornerstone of this holistic approach. By promoting food security and encouraging subsistence farming, we aim to empower our citizens to become self-sufficient. This will help ensure that families have access to nutritious food, ikakhulukazi ngoba ama-nutrients amaningi esiwadingayo akhona ekhabishini, akhona espinashini, konke lokho ongadingi nokuthi uzukhipha imali kwesinye isikhathi ukuyokuthenga ngoba uyakwazi ukuthi ukutshale emakhaya. Siyafisa-ke ukuthi si-emphasize lokho emphakathini wakithi. Uma sithi sizoba ne-holistic approach kwi-health, sikhuluma ngakho lokho, ngiyazi ukuthi sizosebenza kahle ndawonye nodadewethu MEC ukaMadlopha Mthethwa ukuze senze sure ukuthi kuyenzeka lokho abantu bakithi bayakwazi futhi ukudla oku-healthy. on denormalizing and reducing the rate of child and teenage pregnancy. Honorable members, we appreciate the fact that child and teenage pregnancy is now one of the issues that is currently dominating our national discourse. This indeed is a pressing issue that poses significant health risk to our daughters and society at large, and often derails the education and future prospects of our youth. As a province, we cannot and should not afford to stand by while the potential of our young women is compromised. To address this challenge, we are implementing a comprehensive strategy aimed at denormalizing and reducing child and teenage pregnancies and supporting young women generally. We need to unite and work together to stop the statutory rape of young girls. But we also need to unite and work together to stop the actual rape of children. Because that is what it is. It is rape. It is rape, and we should not sugarcoat it. Ayikho ingane neminyaka u-10 ekwazi ukukonsenta to a sexual intercourse. Kusuke kuyi-rape leyo. Yingane leyo engakakwazi ngisho nokuzenzela lutho. Yingakho sithi ukulala nayo kuyiphoqa, therefore you must be arrested. Kuyihlazo nje elibi kakhulu lokhu ukuthi kuyenzeke esizweni sakithi. Sihlalo sikhathele imdodovu yamakhehle abuse ingane zethu. Sekufika isikhathi lapho kufuna sisukume sonke sibambisene ukuthi ngeke kuphinde kuqhubeke lokho. Yingakho sathe isinqumo sokuthi sixoxe kabanzi ngalolu daba namakhosi nezinduna, abaholi bamabandla, abazali kanye nomphakathi jikelele. Sithi abazali abayeke ukufukamela abadlwenguli. Uma uthatha inhlawulo kumuntu odlwengule ingane eneminyaka ewu14, ewu15, ewu16, kusho ukuthi nawe unecala ngoba kusho ukuthi uyavumelana naleso senzo esenzekile. Yingakho ke kubalekile ukuthi kufuna sixoxe nabazali ba-understand ama consequences of some of the things and decisions that they make. It is a serious problem because babies of adolescent mothers face a high risk of low birth weight, preterm birth, and severe neonatal conditions. If these practices continue, our children will have no future, and this is something we cannot allow to proceed. On youth programs in the fight against HIV and AIDS, recognizing that our young people are the innovators and future leaders of our society, we are introducing a series of youth programs that are designed to nurture their potential and guide them on a path to success. In this new financial year and beyond, we will be collaborating with the Department of Education and the Department of Social Development to run and intensify programs that are meant to fight social ills and keep young people on the right path. Through this partnership and sesivumelene nabahlonishwa bobabili, we will strengthen our sex education programs, promote abstinence, and discuss the contribution of sexual reproductive tools among young people, accelerate awareness about teenage pregnancy and moral regeneration among young boys. We will also introduce healthy lifestyle initiative with a focus on reducing obesity among young people and children in schools, highlighting the dangers of smoking, alcohol, and drug abuse, as well as the benefits of a good diet while encouraging activities such as aerobics and cardiovascular exercises. Dr. Kika, we are told you and I must go and have exercise. We will also be recruiting young youth managers and peer mentors in every district. The rationale behind this is to give young people the skills and knowledge that they need to identify personal risks and how to navigate them. Honorable members, to improve access to health care to the youth in the institutions of higher learning, we will also further strengthen our program that we termed Graduate Alive, a campaign that we started conducting, but we will strengthen it. And our target in this regard will be to visit as many institutions of higher learning as possible with all the services that we can take with us. The aim in this regard is to reach young people in high schools, universities, TVET colleges, to promote healthy lifestyle, provide motivation and guidance, mentorship, and educate about the prevention of diseases, but also provide protection where protection is needed. Honorable Chair, on combating TB and HIV and AIDS, KwaZulu-Natal continues to find itself as the unnecessary epicenter of TB, HIV, and AIDS. These diseases that should no longer be killing our people because both TB and HIV are preventable now. In cases where they cannot be prevented, treatment is available, including a cure for TB. Yet we continue to see new infections and tragically unnecessary deaths. Chairperson, reflecting on our progress since 2019-2020 financial year, I can confidently say that KwaZulu-Natal has made some significant strides in the TB control program between 2019-2020 and 2023-2024 financial years. The number of TB tests conducted increased by about 662,000 to more than 1 million over this 5-year period. Despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, which saw the lowest recorded in 2020 at more than 573,000, we have now achieved a remarkable 77% increase in TB testing. On the key highlights in our fight against TB has been the introduction of the digital test X-rays to detect missing TB cases, particularly those without symptoms. This we have been doing since 2021. More than 32,000 patients have been screened using this advanced technology. This mobile digital X-ray has technology that enables the screening of patients for TB and other respiratory conditions and produces immediate results as a screening tool in people aged between 15 years and above. These digital X-ray mobile units are utilized in our outreach programs such as Isibhedlela Kubantu. However, on other days, they are based outside health facilities, and in those facilities, they provide a service in targeting high TB burden community hotspots. Patients who have TB symptoms are diagnosed promptly rather than referring them to community care centers and hospitals for diagnosis. 7 districts currently have these units that were donated by some of our partners, which are eThekwini, uMgungundlovu, Thukela, Majuba, uMkhanyakude, Ugu, and King Cetshwayo. However, in this financial year of 24-25, as a department, we decided to procure 4 more such vehicles so that we can then take those to districts that do not have these vehicles from partners, which are Zululand, Herikwala, Ilembe, and Umzinyathi districts. Honorable Chairperson, we have come a long way in the treatment of HIV and AIDS, with this year marking 20 years since the government started initiating the antiretroviral treatment program. Over the past 5 years, the treatment for HIV has significantly improved under the current leadership. In 2009, the province had just more than 109,000 patients on ART. But the current number of people on treatment as at the end of March 2024 stands at 1.56 million. The current highly efficient treatment regimen is now administered as a fixed dose combination, meaning 1 tablet per day for most HIV patients. This represents a substantial improvement in both safety and treatment outcomes, with rapid and sustainable viral suppression. Impela kusafani nakuqala, selilodwa kuphela iphilisi. Hayi bakwethu aswaginqeni amaphilisi ethu alisekho ihlazo manje. The UNAIDS has set targets on the management of HIV and AIDS when it comes to testing, treatment, and viral suppression rates. These targets are now put at 95%. This means 95% of the population must be tested for HIV and know their status. 95% of those who are HIV positive must be on treatment, and the last 95 speak to those on treatment must be virally suppressed. Previously, this target stood at 90% per category, but we've since moved on from that. Our target for the 24-25 financial year is to increase the numbers of individuals on ART to 1.67 million, based on the estimated 1.88 million people living with HIV according to the Tembisa model. The real challenge lies in ensuring that every individual diagnosed with TB or HIV and AIDS adheres strictly to their treatment. It is a challenge we are determined to rise up to, but it is a challenge that we must ask members and community leaders to assist us with, because on our own, we will never be able to win this. In this regard, we will be strengthening our Welcome Back campaign, which will focus on re-engaging individuals who have previously accessed treatment but got lost along the way. We will continue to heighten our focus on creating a supportive environment that emphasizes non-judgmental care and the importance of continuous treatment. On PrEP, honorable members, 2 years ago, the department reported putting 99,500 people on PrEP, but we are now pleased to announce that as of February 2024, the number has increased to 177,000 clients that are actually on treatment. To further increase these numbers, we are continuing with the existing of all our strategies, including our outreach programs, as well as utilizing various media platforms. We will continue to provide health education on PrEP during consultation for family planning and cervical cancer. We will also intensify the mass marketing of PrEP at institutions of higher learning. We will also use social media platforms as well as the KZN Health Chat in its considerable presence online, on radio and TV. We are very much aware that parents might be uncomfortable with us talking about PrEP and protection at institutions of higher learning, but we are aware that parents are in denial about the sexual activities of their children. It is therefore our responsibility to make sure that we bring protection to these young people so that they know that they actually have options. Honorable members, investing in the health of our babies and children under 5 is about securing the future of KwaZulu-Natal. By giving our children the best start in life, we build a healthier and more prosperous province. While we've seen a welcome reduction in the rate of severe acute malnutrition, which now stands at 7.2% for 23-24 financial year, which is the lowest we've had, by the way, in 3 years, there is still work to be done. To eradicate malnutrition-related deaths, we must encourage early case detection and address underlying social issues like teenage pregnancy. Additionally, we will strengthen breastfeeding support through the Mother and Baby Friendly Initiative and continue to empower nutrition advisors to provide essential services at the primary healthcare and community level. Phila Mbokodo as a focus on women's health. Chairperson, as we continue our journey towards a healthier KwaZulu-Natal, we must recognize the critical importance of preventative healthcare, especially for our women. As part of our new Phila Mbokodo strategy, we will elevate our focus on comprehensive screening and testing for cervical cancer, breast cancer, and uterine cancer, ensuring that early detection and treatment are accessible to all women, regardless of their background or circumstances. We want this to be the female equivalent of Isibaya Samadod, with a focus on creating awareness on sexual and reproductive health, including family planning and HIV and AIDS awareness, and speak to non-communicable diseases like high blood pressure, to mention but a few. Our program will also address the broader health and socio-economic challenges faced by women in our province. Prioritizing men's health. Chairperson, our engagement with men across the province of KwaZulu-Natal have revealed some of the reasons that keep them from seeking medical help early when they fall ill. Men tell us that they are reluctant to visit clinics and hospitals, not because they do not value their health, but because they fear being judged or seen by people that they know. This fear often leads to men postponing vital healthcare visits, which can result in the worsening of conditions that could have been managed or treated early. In recognizing this challenge, we have begun taking proactive steps to make our healthcare facilities more welcoming. In addition to our outreach programs of Isibaya Samadod and Ekhosombela Majida, we have decided to target men to encourage them to actually come to our facilities. We have also previously made a commitment that every local municipality must have at least one facility, whether a CHC or a 24-hour clinic, that is dedicated to health of men. These facilities that have a male nurse during the day and afterwards, because we want to make it easy for men to visit health facilities. We are pleased to announce that we now have 42 such facilities in the province, as well as 4 mobile clinics that we are utilizing. We believe that by increasing the number of healthcare professionals, we will create a more relatable and reassuring environment for male patients where they can seek care without fear of stigma or embarrassment. Although there has been a slight decrease in the cases of sexually transmitted infections from 110,000 in 22-23 to more than 93,000 this past financial year, we believe these numbers are still alarmingly high. We are particularly concerned about the rising trend of male urethritis syndrome, which consistently exceeds the threshold of 30 per 100,000 population. This is likely due to sexual partners of index clients not seeking treatment. The prevalence of syphilis also remains a cause for concern, as we have seen its increased prevalence rate among women who present at our healthcare facilities. We wish to emphasize that abstinence is still a valid choice until one is ready for responsible sexual activity. This means utilizing condoms correctly and consistently, regular STI testing for both partners, and practicing safer conceptions. We strongly encourage faithfulness. We strongly encourage faithfulness, which also plays a crucial role in preventing STIs like cervical cancer, syphilis, and HIV. Ayipheli indaba yobusoka. Sikhuluma ngabesifazane nangabesilisa, ubusoka is out of fashion. Responding to the needs of the LGBTQI+ community, honorable members, in line with pronouncement that we have made in this house, we have begun to empower the LGBTQI+ community by providing tailor-made solutions for their unique healthcare challenges. We started with one clinic. We now have 5 LGBTQI+ friendly facilities, which are in Pietermaritzburg, East Boom Clinic, Eddington Gateway Sexual and Reproductive Health Clinic in Durban, Empathe Clinic, Umzinyati District, Walton's Clinic, Uthukela District, and Sundumbili CHC, Elembe District. But that being said, it doesn't mean that members of these communities are not allowed in our other facilities. They are very much allowed, but we decided that we needed to create a safe space for them. We are happy, Chairperson, to announce that we have procured dental dams, finger cords, lubricants, for all of which is being repackaged into a combo pack for wider distribution. This is a promise that we made 2 years ago, as it was not previously happening, that for us to be able to protect the LGBTQI+ population, we needed to provide the equipment for them to be safe. Abahlonishwa ke ikhwameni zabo bazobona ukuthi akhona ama packages sibafakele. Wonke umuntu uzokwazi ukuthi dental colt injani, dental dam injani, finger court injani, awasetshenziswe bakwethu, angahambi nje ayodlala abantwana emakhaya. On non-communicable diseases, nama-condoms wafakile, asifakanga lokho kuphela. On non-communicable diseases, in the face of global surge in NCDs, our province has also seen a concerning rise in cases. The number of new diabetes cases increased from about 35,600 in 21-22 to more than 49,600 in 22-23, while hypertension cases rose from about 64,000 to more than 78,000 in the same period. This alarming trend, particularly with diabetes and hypertension, demands immediate and focused attention. To reverse this trend, we are embarking on a comprehensive strategy that prioritizes health promotion and prevention. This includes large-scale awareness campaigns to promote physical activity, nutrition, and early detection and treatment of new cases. Chairperson, we now have hope for the profoundly hearing impaired. We are extremely excited as a Department of Health in KwaZulu-Natal and proud about the progress that we are making to assist those members of the community who are profoundly hearing impaired, regardless of the skin tone, regardless of their skin tone, regardless of how deep their pocket is. We are doing this through the use of cochlear implants as part of our KwaZulu-Natal Auditory Plant Program, which is a partnership between ourselves and the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Since the start of the auditory implant program last year, we have done 19 cochlear implants, which is made up of 12 patients from Nkosi Albert and 7 from Ngwelezane. In May last year, I was fortunate to witness some very emotional scenes in Nkosi Albert where when cochlear implants were switched on 43-year-old Xolani Skhosana from Gledwood, okwasekuphele iminyaka ewu-15 engezwa, kodwa ngalelo suku i-cochlear implant yakhe eyayisifakiwe previously yayisiyovulwa ukuze ezwe. It was very emotional. Umeqala yena ezwa abantu bekhuluma, he cried tears. This is someone who's unemployed, who did not pay a cent for him to be able to get that, but this government was able to do that for him. As well as 2-year-old baby model Uminati Mafisa from Newcastle, who was born naye with an impairment, and they both regained their sense of hearing. Imagine a life of a 2-year-old being changed like that. Really, lo hulumeni uyabathanda bantu. Just to put matters into perspective, a cochlear implant on its own, the instrument, costs at least 250,000 per unit for umuntu oyedwa. And that excludes the associated costs such as assessment, the actual surgery, as well as maintenance. And here we are doing it in the public sector. Manje abangayifuni NHI kusho ukuthi abafuni nalomsebenzi omuhle kangaka. It is also quite encouraging to see the progress we are making, because when the program started, the province had only 1 surgeon and 1 audiologist. But we now have 2 additional surgeons as well as 2 audiologists who are fully trained and certified. The team now also has a fully upskilled speech therapist and psychologist. By the way, labantu abalida le team baneyithakazelo eyifana nami nezakho. Ngaphezu kwalokho ba abantu besifazane abenza lo msebenzi omkhulu kangaka. Kulonyaka ke sivumelene nabo ukuthi bazozama ukwenza ama implants awu6 eyokuqala nje izoba ngomhla ka28 kuAugust. So siyajabula kakhulu. On mental health, Honorable Chairperson, we believe mental health must take center stage in our efforts to build a healthier society. We can no longer afford to treat it as an afterthought, especially given the rampant abuse of substances such as dagga, wunga, intash, alcohol, and others. Abantu abadala ke bazobuza eceleni ukuthi yini intash. These dangerous substances are tearing apart the very fabric of our society and contributing significantly to the burden of mental health challenges in the province. At the same time, mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and others are becoming more prevalent. It is essential to recognize that at least 1 in 3 adults will experience mental health challenges in their lifetime. Abantu abamnyama ikakhulukazi bakuthatha lokhu njengento abangayithathi serious ukuthi mental health iyisifo. Kubalekile sikuthathe serious, sikhulume, sixoxe emakhaya. Akusilo ihlazo ukuthi umuntu unama challenges e mental health. Abanye bethu uma siwu100, at least 70 to 75% of us suffer from mental health illnesses in one form or the other. Uma ngabe singayivumi siyi-accept, kusho ukuthi abantu bakithi will continue to deny it. Kanti yona nto eyenza ukuthi ingane zethu nazo igcine ziyibulala ngoba azikwazi ukusitshela amaqiniso. These conditions can significantly impact not only the individuals affected, but also their loved ones and broader communities. We must therefore work together to improve access to care and reduce stigma surrounding mental health. To help strengthen our capacity to deal with mental health issues, we are pleased that 2 NHI grant-appointed psychiatrists are currently employed at Fort Napier, nayo leyo NHI Food, with the aim of reducing the forensic observation backlog and awaiting trial detainees. This has assisted in reducing the backlog from approximately 9 months to 4 months. In addition, one of the psychiatrists mentioned above is doing outreach work once a week at Mzimkhulu Hospital and has seen a total of 109 state patients in the first 3 quarters of this financial year. Chairperson, as part of our commitment to improving the quality of care, we will continue to harness technology to enhance service delivery and transparency. And we are all aware, as we are all aware, the province of KwaZulu-Natal has been subjected to several major public events over the past few years that have had adverse public health consequences. This includes the floods, the looting, public violence, public sector strike, disease outbreaks, and pandemics. South Africa is obligated to develop the institutional and operational capacity to better prepare and respond to these events in compliance with the provision of the international health regulation. To address the challenges of our current system, we are streamlining our provincial call center this financial year to better serve the public and respond more efficiently to emergencies. Our outdated analog system, the desktop application, limits access to real-time data and hampers the generations of reports, making it difficult to compile accurate reports. To overcome this, we are introducing a 360-degree system, which is a real-time web-based solution that will serve the departmental nerve center and public health emergency services. Izoshintsha indlela esisebenza ngayo. The KZN Health Chat, our innovative weekly KZN Health Chat,
you may proceed. I will take from your response minutes.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu lapha. Chairperson, the KZN Health Chat is our innovative weekly KZN multimedia podcast, which is broadcast online, on TV, on radio, and is growing rapidly, showcasing our dedication to transparency and accountability. Driven by the health calendar and public input, the content of this podcast empowers the community with vital information, supports disease awareness, and promotes prevention, testing, early diagnosis, and treatment adherence. Goes without saying that this is helping us to improve health literacy in the province while enabling the efficient utilization of our limited resources. Ngicabanga ukuthi siyabaza abantu abadala emakhaya bekhuluma ngo-absolutely besuke bakhuluma ngayo ke yona le show esuke ilethe leyo information leyo. Publicizing the contact details of hospital managers, Chairperson, we will continue to do so because we believe that is very important. Honorable Chair, one of the most significant initiatives that we announced when we took office in 2019 was the implementation of e-health, and we have started working on that. Unfortunately, we had a number of challenges that we were faced with, and as a result, we were not able to progress the way we wanted to progress. Of course, COVID-19 also came and set us back at least by 2 years. However, we started with 3 facilities, which are Prince Mshieni, Pixlika Isagaseme, and Ematateni. After that, Chairperson, we've now been able to implement e-health in 42 other hospitals. We are very excited about it. We bought quite a number of hard equipment that needed to be bought in the last financial year. In this financial year, we will continue to implement it, and we will continue to implement in the last 27 hospitals that are remaining. We will be buying desktops, cows are computers on wheelchair, laptops, tablets, and so forth. We are very excited about this program, Chair. Once it is fully implemented, we will indeed see a difference in the province. On infrastructure development, the province of KwaZulu-Natal as a rural province, Chair, particularly Honorable Chair, in a semi-rural province like KwaZulu-Natal, the development of infrastructure, particularly the built environment, is essential for improving healthcare services. A few weeks ago, we embarked on a number of short turnings where we were able to hand over 3 service providers to build clinics, where we were able to hand over service providers to build 3 clinics and a CHC. Sikhuluma ngendawo yaseNyavini, Ogwini, eMpaphala, eMpolweni naseMtubatuba. Sizoqhubeka ke sihlalo sokugadele umsebenzi sibuke ukuthi uyenzeka kahle ngempela yini. Sasenza icommitment ukuthi sizokwakha ama clinics awu 7. Siqalile ke yalo 4 kule financial year entsha sizoqhubeka nalezi ezinye ezisele ngoba siyazi ukuthi imali yethu ayanele kodwa sizobona ukuthi sicosulaphi. Chairperson, sayenza commitment in the past yokuthi we are going to be branding 4 of our district hospitals to become regional hospitals. Lowo msebenzi lowo uyaqhubeka, we are upgrading, and the hospitals are Vryheid, Dundee, Bethesda and Christ the King. This upgrade will enhance these hospitals' capacity to provide more advanced healthcare services. Siyajabulela kakhulu ukuthi umsebenzi siyawubona umehluko khona. Sayenza futhi le commitment yokuthi iDumbe CHC will now be upgraded to become a district hospital because iyadingeka kule ndawo. Maningi kamanye ama projects esiwenzayo Chairperson ebaluleke kakhulu engicabanga ukuthi kufuna siyibale la ile project ye-oncology center esiyenzayo. We in the past besinama centers amathathu e-oncology. Eyokuqala ibisenkosi Albert Luthuli Eddington Hospital nase Grace. NgoNovember ngonyaka odlule si-ede i-center entsha sayifaka lapha eNgwelezane ngoba senzela khona ukuthi abantu bakithi bangahambi indlela ezinde kakhulu. Sesiqalile umsebenzi wona uyenziwa kodwa lapha ekudingeka khona ama skills advanced amanye ama patients siyawathutha swamikisele enkosi Albert. However, that project actually needs funding as well because siyazi ukuthi thina sina imali. We engaged the National Department of Health yavuma ukuthi izosinikeza imali engango 269 million rands ukusiza ukuthi sakhe le 32 bedded oncology ward ena 2 bunkers, 2 linear accelerators, 1 brachytherapy and CT scan. So kuyasijabulisa kakhulu ke lokho ngoba kusho ukuthi abantu bakithi ngeke basahamba indlela ende kakhulu. On EMS chair, we continue to have challenges as a EMS ngendlela yokuthi asinayo imali yanele to complete or to buy a full fleet. However, this financial year we have decided that we are going to buy 38 ambulances, 2 response vehicles and 8 planned patient transport. Sine program kenye sinayo sihlalo ye road assistance for our ambulances ngoba senzela ukuthi ama ambulance ethu angahambi isikhathi eside wonke uma ephukile ngezinto nje ezincane. Sikwazile ukuthi sithenge imoto ezu11 siqashile ama mechanics about 11 and we have also employed 22 abazoba ama assistants abo abazoqala kulonyaka esikuwona. On improvements in financial management, Chair, Honorable Chair, despite challenges such as unfilled posts, we have maximized our available capacity to achieve significant milestones by rigorously implementing regular review of our policies and procedures and strengthening the internal controls. We have ensured continuous monitoring and reporting across the department. Our 2 consecutive unqualified audit reports bear testimony to our commitment and continued fiscal discipline, accountability and transparency. This achievement once again reflects confidence of the AG in our improving adherence to the legislation, regulations, policies and procedures, as well as the integrity of our information. It highlights our improvements in financial reporting and robust internal controls which are committed to continue to uphold. We will continue to strive towards achieving a clean audit. Ngiyabonga kakhulu sihlalo kubo bonke abenze umsebenzi esinawo. Siyabonga kwi department yonke iholwa uDokotela uShabalala nethimba lakhe asebenza nalo. Sibonge nakubo bonke abenze lo msebenzi wanamhlanje. Sibonge nokubambisana between civil society ne organized labor ngoba sisebenza kahle kakhulu ukuya phambili. We thank you very much for proactively caring for your health, preventing diseases and seeking early medication attention. Lastly, I am profoundly grateful to my family for their unconditional love and support. My mother uMavlakazi ukhona lapha phezulu noMagutshwa out yakhe. My siblings Usthembile, Ustelo, Nokwazi, my children, Ulwazi Lwandile, who is up there and has never attended my sitting, so she's attending for the first time. Ulwazi Lwandile, Ulethu Uzihlelele okuhle noLinami, which is the last born. You have been the greatest strength and inspiration. And of course, ngiyabonga kakhulu kuMadlokovu Ntusi Yenkomo nasentendeni yesandla uyanele. Chairperson, I thus present to you 2024-2025 budget Program 1 is 1.37 billion. Program 2, 27.5 billion. Emergency medical services, 1.79 billion. Provincial hospital services, 13.2 billion. Central hospital services, 6 billion rands. Health sciences and training, 1.5 billion. Health care support services, 37 million rands. Health facilities management, 1.97 billion rands. The total of the budget is 53.8 billion rands. Siyabonga, siyathemba izokwamukele.